Revolutionary greetings. Haki Shakur coming at you today. About to drop this video real quick. This video is called Let's Gang Up on Oppression, Youth Organizations and the Struggle for Power in Oppressed Communities by the comrade, ancestor, Tiba, Shana, Awusa, Yakub, Yaki. This video is about street tribes, street organizations, youth organizations that has become what we known as today as gangs. And this video is going to be about their historical struggle to return to their historical origins, which is being politicized and revolutionalized, you know what I mean, returning back to their original form and some of their original origins, historical origins. This video is about just dropping some jewels on their historical past, and maybe some of the young cats out there, when they see this video, they'll go do some research on the past of street organizations, gangs. So, we can try to, by putting this information out there to these young cats, they can receive this information, go do their research, and think about far as reorganizing and rebuilding and reforming that political structure that street organizations had from the get-go, from out the fold, so that we can erase this criminal colonized activity and this internal oppressive actions that we use on our own, far as in our communities. And this is based on all street orgs, no particular ones. So I'm gonna just be touching on a couple of the street organizations where mainly the leadership, because right now in 2014, as we all know, most of the street organizations that's out there today, they're not organized like how they was first organized in the historical origin of street organizations. Because see, a lot of these street organizations were formed due to the oppressive conditions that these young organizations were dealing with, as far as what new African people was dealing with in America, dealing with the power structure and the conditions of black people, period, in the United States of America, with dealing with the effects of European and white supremacy. So a lot of these organizations were formed, they came in political size, but along the way, due to tactics and confusion and ultimately the war from the power structure agencies to destroy these leaders and destroy these organizations, to keep them from being unified, ultimately took most of these organizations and their leaders out of the fold and took these organizations into the criminal lifestyle of the underworld, and started dealing with these internal oppressive actions, which ultimately turned in us being so, colonized mentally, and being so colonized and falling for these traps and these strategic war tactics that these agencies of the power structure used on these people. We ultimately became subjects, colonial subjects, and turned our weapons on our own and turned our weapons against each other. So this video is just going to show a lot of these young cats, because right now a lot of these organizations now organized have no leadership, because most of the OGs on drugs, and this is no offense to no one, a lot of the OGs on drugs, a lot of the OGs have been beat down by this oppressive system, this oppressive law enforcement agency, constant attacks and targeting of these OGs. A lot of them are incarcerated. A lot of them just beat down, man, mentally, physically defeated, And so a lot of these, and I'm gonna say, a lot of these youngsters with dealing with these street organizations have come to the point also where they feel like they don't need no leadership, man. So it's like a lot of these youngsters out here, they just running rapid and they doing their own thing, and it ain't so much about no organized structure or none of that, or even even paying attention to the OGs when the OGs trying to bring them jewels and try to get this thing fixed from this eternal oppressive violence that street organizations use against each other, man. So it's like we got to find a way to get these cats to understand that it's okay to be in a youth organization, man. It's okay to be in a gang. But see, the only way we can make that factual is to get rid of the criminal element and to get away to get rid of the oppressive actions that we use on each other and the terror. How can I put it? The terrorizing of new African communities and terrorizing these everyday working class citizens who are just living their life daily and just want to live, man. And so the only way we can make that all right if we turn these organizations back into their historical structure, which is political and revolutionary organizations, man. So once we do that, you know what I mean, we can make it all right for our kids to join gangs, because it wouldn't be no negative reasons or no negative or no criminal aspects amongst it, but more of helping the problem instead of being a part of the problem, if you understand that, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna just be breaking down like real quick like some of the historical history that a lot of us young cats and a lot of young cats out there that might not have heard of and never heard none of this information before, man. So this is coming from our new African revolutionary, our new African nationalist, Atiba Shana, who had this blueprint and had this powerful revolutionary essay, man, that was talking about let's gang up and bang on the oppression, man. Because ultimately, like I always tell these young cats out here, and I tell some of these older cats also, like, believe it or not, we cannot separate street organizations from political revolutionary organizations. We can't separate the youth from being a part of our new African family and our new African communities, because they're our kids, man. They are our people, you know what I mean? So we can't alienate these people just because they're misguided and they're not doing what is the norm of what these historical organizations were founded on. We got to be a part of the healing and I'm gonna say the healing and the transformation of helping these kids to get out of that criminal element and that eternal oppressive behaviors and mentality, man. So we got to be a part of the structure that's going to help them get over that bridge and return to the decency of being a man and being a revolutionary and being a productive, new African male or new African female who's in street organizations to become what they're should be aiming at, and that's their full potential of being a new African citizen and a new African positive force on our community, man, and a positive effect on our community. So I'm looking at it like this, like it's a quote that the great Frantz Fanon used, and he said that I cannot disassociate myself from the future that is proposed for my brothers. And this was from the book Black Skin, White Mask that Frantz Fanon put out. And what he was saying in that quote was like, I cannot disassociate. If I'm a revolutionary nationalist and I'm a revolutionary and I'm a how can I say, a model for what's right, and for the historical, what I'm saying, liberation movement, and me being a part of these movements and being who I am as a revolutionary nationalist, that I cannot disassociate myself from my people, no matter what they're involved in. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't disassociate myself from my brothers and sisters who are in street organizations, man. I gotta be the model to overall. I just cannot be the type of person that turns his back on our people and turn our back on these street orgs because of simple fact you don't like what they're doing. Yeah, I don't like what they're doing as far as killing each other, committing criminal acts on our people, causing confusion in our communities, and constantly, just terrorizing the community as a whole. So no, I don't agree with that. But in order to fix our internal problems and the internal conditions in our communities as far as dealing with street organizations, we as New African revolutionaries and New African nationalists, we must deal with this problem, how can I say it, eternally. Because it's an eternal issue. We can't expect for the external to fix our problems because the external forces are perpetuating and continuing their strategic moves and their strategic tactics to keep these street organizations in their criminal stages, in their criminal behaviors, and to continue feeding them and using tactics to confuse them, to keep them terrorizing our people. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't want no leaders or no type of umoja among street organizations because they know the power that these street because, man, I'm gonna tell you, across the United States of America, 50 states, man, like the numbers of New African people that's in street organizations is as a totality the majority, man. That's just the fact. Like, your kid or your daughter, 9 out of 10 of a 9 out of 10 people in the New African community are part of street organizations, whether you want to believe it or not. You know what I mean? So we gotta look at that as power, because if we can get them to focus on what's important, which is turning their guns off of our people and harassing our people and harassing their own people, you know what I mean, and our own communities, and turn those guns toward the power structure and towards positive platforms and positive, solutions to fixing our social, economical, political plights and problems in our communities, to get to the part and the ultimate goal of forming an ultimate, where basically we already got that part as far as the nation, you know what I mean, to help these cats come within the nation of the New African provisional government, and to get these cats together and realize who they are far as being a New African and part of this New African nation, that we can bring them into the fold and they can help us get our goal done, which is self-determination, independence, land, and to free our people, man. This is what we got to do. And the only way that's going to get done is going to come from the lumping, the young cats that's in street organization, because they have the numbers, man. We need numbers. We can't defeat nothing political, economical, or socially without the youth, man. That's just a fact. So we can talk all day, about the violence like we see in Chirac, aka Chicago, and the violence that we see all over America as far as our youth and street organizations, if we don't help these cats remove the colonial, criminalized, oppressive behaviors out of their spirit and out of their mind and transform that into a revolutionary, positive spirit, man. If we don't get this done, we're never going to win against the power structure. We're never going to get our goals. We're never going to get free. We're not going to get anything on that level if we don't get street organizations in the fold and get these cats riding on the power structure, man. Point blank. That's the only way the violence is going to stop. That's the only way the mothers are going to stop crying. That's the only way these funerals are going to end. We must replace their struggles and their criminal behaviors with something positive, man. If we don't replace that, which a lot of cats been trying to do over the last couple of decades, a lot of them been successful, man. But I don't think that eliminating street organizations, period, and to get them out of gang life or street organizations, period, is going to help them, man. I think street organizations and gangs can help them. You know what I mean? Because being a part of something can help most of our people in our communities and most of our youth by them being a part of something, man. Because a lot of these households don't have mothers, they don't have fathers. So by them being a part of something, that fills the void of them have to, like, running out of here and saying I'm the hardest out here, I'm a thug, I'm a gangster. They don't have to look at being this tough guy image because they so full of hurt and and so oppressed mentally, and the conditions making our behaviors this way because we're living in some effed up conditions, that being a thug and being a gangster should be looked at as being in a positive light and not in a negative light. Instead of trying to prove our toughness, we can just reform these organizations and give them platforms to make them love themselves, man, and to make them see the bigger picture and show them who's really the reason behind why their anger is being focused on us and our people eternally and killing our own, man. You know what I mean? So let me run through this real quick, man. You know, J. Edgar Hoover and all those cats, the COINTELPRO, man, they're the main reason behind the reason why street organizations are in so much of a disarray, man. Because this cat, from the get-go, was going to make sure that no black messiah, no leader of no organization, whether it was revolutionary or hood, street organizations or any of that type level leadership or unity, he made sure that this wasn't going to happen by disrupting it with their tactics with COINTELPRO, man. Like one of the new African elders said, Minister Fontaine. He said this back in like I'm gonna say this was like back in the 1990s, 1995 at the United Peace. Minister Fountain was like, when J. Edgar Hoover initiated his counterintelligence program, which was used to form genocide and to create genocide mentality and to create this environment and this bubbling and this explosive tactics to create us to turn on each other so we can start eliminating each other and ultimately commit suicide and genocide on each other, man. And Minister Fontaine was like, they threatened to destroy anybody in the black community that was a leader, anybody. So they decided war and declared war on us 25 to 40 years ago, man. because the power structure was so afraid of unification. Um, they had to keep the people down for so long that, and to keep them off the focus of having the same common enemy, which all New African communities and New African people have. We all have the same common enemy, which is causing our conditions and our oppressive struggle and our oppressive conditions, man. And this program was put together to make you think the opposite, that it's your own people that's causing your conditions. And so by him putting these strategic tactics in to make it like we're the cause of our own problems overall in our communities, economically and socially and politically and just downright, period. These tactics were successful, man, because we automatically start looking at our brother and our sister as the enemy instead of looking at who was truly causing the problems in our community and the reason why we were in the impoverished conditions and the impoverished systems that we are in and communities we are in today, man. So if you do your studying on the historical aspects of street organizations, period, you would see that it was never negative, man. Like it came together. It was all put together positive when we was one, man. And we was on one mission, and that mission was to gain our human rights, economical justice, social justice, political control of our own destiny, man. That's the origin of this shit. For real, man. It's the origin of this shit. And I'm going to use, for example, man, a couple of street organizations that did this. Let me start with Larry Hoover, man. You know what I mean? And the Gangster Disciple Nation, man. Let's start with Chicago, man, because Chicago, I'm gonna say, man, even though I'm gonna say LA and Chicago is basically on the same level as far as these street organizations, you know what I'm saying, coming to existence. But really down south was the beginning, man, because down south already had youth organizations and these type of, you know, how can I put it, students, college students, or however high school students period. They already had these clubs and these organizations, these youth organizations that was banging on the oppressive structure. But a lot of these street organizations came in the fold the same way. But a lot of them came in from the get-go with confusion and not really understanding what was really going on within our community, because it was so much of an economical struggle. I'm gonna say economical oppression is the basis of why a lot of organizations were formed in New African communities, and they had a criminal, aspect from the get-go, because we was living in poverty, man. So it was about survival. So a lot of these cats create organizations because they knew that the racist power structure wasn't feeding us, man. Basically, they wasn't feeding us because it was a one-sided, racist built country from the get-go. So it's like we never had a chance from the get-go. So a lot of the organizations came in the fold trying to get ahead in an imperialist, racist, controlled empire, which is the United States of America, man. So a lot of these organizations came in and started committing. I wouldn't even say they was committing criminal acts. I just say they was committing acts that had, it had oppressive actions to it, but it wasn't so much of basically attacking. Basically, taken from the power structure, man. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the organizations were formed and they were not harassing their own communities and their own people. They was taking it out on the power structure. If you aren't going to give us what we want, we're going to take it from you. You know what I mean? Simple as that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a lot of them came in with the criminal aspect. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even call it a criminal aspect. I just call it a survival aspect. You know what I mean? That ultimately down the line turned into criminal acts and criminal behaviors and oppressive actions. You know what I mean? Because of what the power structure did to do their nice work as far as mind washing our people, man. So I'm gonna start off with Larry Hoover, man, because Larry Hoover, I'm gonna say Larry Hoover and Jeff Fort. I'm gonna go ahead and bridge them together. Larry Hoover and Jeff Fort came into this shit, you know. Well, one of them came in. I'm gonna say Jeff Fort. He came in with his organization, the Black Stone Rangers, the Black Peace Stones. When they formed, from the get go, their shit was political. You know what I mean? Like, they came in it from the get go on some political shit. Like, they saw what time it was. Like, when he formed his organization, like, their whole thing was to fix our communities and deal with our communities on our own. And to hell with the power structure. You know what I mean? We don't want your help. We're going to fix our own problems because we know y'all not going to help us anyway because you're a racist power structure. So when he formed his organization was politicalized from the get-go. Larry Hoover so much was dealing with an economical struggle. His shit was trying to defeat economical oppression and get ahead in a Western society that was racist towards us and oppressive toward us economically. So his thing was to form an organization to get our ass up out of this impoverished conditions, man. So when growth development was formed, you know what I mean, when the Gangster Disciples were formed, yeah, they was doing their thing, you know what I mean? And it wasn't really on what they should have been on, you know what I mean, as far as straight political lies, but the fact that he formed the organization, period, you know what I mean, should be looked at as something not so negative or positive, because you got to think about the conditions that it was under when he formed his organization. I don't disagree with none of the things as far as dealing with drug dealing and all that type of stuff. I don't condone none of that, but I respect Larry Hoover for the simple fact when he got to the 90s, overstood that that wasn't what's happening. So he changed his organization into growth and development, which is turning from the crime element to the political element, the revolutionary element, and to fix our conditions. Because one, he knew we had numbers. He knew our street organizations had numbers. So he knew from the get-go that he could affect the power structure to a certain degree by putting his organization in the political struggle. So he took his organization and put it into the political struggle and started banging on the power structure from the political aspect. You know what I mean? So he came along with the Voters 21 political organization with growth and development, with him and the OG Gator and all those cats got together and formed that. And they realized that we had to bang on the power structure, man. So once he did that, the power structure seen it was like, oh no, they're going to come back with this COINTELPRO thing, which never left. COINTELPRO never left, man. COINTELPRO is here today. So they attacked this man. Not from his criminal, you know what I'm saying, actions. They attacked this man because his political actions. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't continuing up what they wanted him to do, and that's to keep his street organization ignorant, criminalized, and attacking his own people. So once they seen him step out of that, they had to remove him. So they attacked this man, locked this man up on conspiracy. And the crazy thing, when they got him in the penitentiary, they threw more charges on this man that I deem as ridiculous, because this man was only given all those life terms that was added on to his sentences because he was political. Which is why most of our elders and OGs are locked up, because they have political beliefs. So once he grabbed hold his political beliefs, they threw time on this man, just to throw time on this man, to remove this man from the streets forever, because he unified his organization under and took it and focused it on the real problem, which is the power structure. The same with Jeff Ford. When he formed the Black Stone Rangers, and they was political from the get-go, the power structure automatically wanted to eliminate this cat. You know what I mean? Because he was going to be a problem. He could organize. You know what I mean? And when they found out how Jeff Ford was taking the power structure's programs and using it to benefit his street organization in a political aspect and to help new African communities, when they seen that and he got that grant from the government for the social programs that he was involved with and that he had built with this other cat, when they seen how what he was doing and all this, they came in from the get-go to attack and destroy this man and remove this man. So they trumped up all this misinformed information, put it out there in the communities that he was using the money for criminal, you know what I mean, actions and criminal activity. So they instantly fixed and trapped this man and to remove this man because he could organize. See, the thing about all these cats, they can organize. Stanley Tookie Williams, when he got locked up, you know what I mean, set up, trumped up, and locked up and became politicalized and conscious, and they seen that he could organize, and they could see he could organize behind these camp walls and these hellholes of the penitentiaries. When he could organize like that, and he could bring the Bloods and Crips together and to bang on the beast and to turn their guns off each other and bang on the power structure. When they seen what Stanley Tookie Williams was doing with these children's books to tell these kids not to join gangs, you know what I'm saying, and to stay away from the criminal aspect of gangs, and then he could just bring Crips and Bloods together, period, and take their minds off the ignorant self-destruction and oppressive action, turn oppressive actions on each other, and to build it up into a positive structure and organizations. They killed this man. They assassinated him. COINTELPRO, man. You know what I mean? They had to remove these people, man. Because the power structure know, let me tell you something. The power structure know that their time is not going to last long, man. The ones who are controlling and running this power structure know their time not going to last. All empires fall. Let's get this right. When it's a oppressive empire with oppressive systems intact, which is European supremacy, white supremacy, and when these power structures and the empire are living off that, and they're oppressing nations that are within the nation and empires and countries, when they oppress these nations like the brown and black communities, they know that it's not right from the get-go. So they know that their time of oppressing people like that is not going to last long, because these people are going to come together and unite and is going to uprise and rebel, man, against the oppression and their conditions that they're living in, man. It's going to happen. We're not going to live like this forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the way you built your shit is going to destroy your shit. Point blank. Because it was built on tyranny, man. This is what we got to get street organizations to realize. Who are the origins of your self-hate? Who are the origins of your poverty? Who are the reason for your conditions? The reason for your mental behaviors? The reason for your criminal behaviors? The reason for your eternal hate for your brother and your sisters, that you shouldn't be hating like that. You know what I mean? So once we get at these street organizations to understand that, and to make them understand that we need them as numbers, and we love y'all, and we need y'all to get the point that we can fix our own conditions and start to take control of our conditions and our problems in this empire of America, and that we can win and defeat these cats and to ultimately gain liberation for our people. Once we get them to realize that, You know what I mean? We got the numbers, we got the power, the lumping, the revolutionaries, the true revolutionaries, that George Jackson said, the lumping, you know what I mean, the youth. You know what I mean? Once we got them, we're gonna win, man. You know what I mean? Point blank. No ifs, ands, or buts about this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta get together and let's literally gang up on oppression through street organizations, revolutionary organizations, and ultimately that power and backbone is gangs, man. Straight up. I don't care how you look at gangs, man. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I just like to say mentally, they're just not focused. They're just oppressed people, man. So when you see them committing all these actions, these youth organizations committing these actions on each other, eternal oppressive actions, just realize where it's coming from. It's coming from hurt, like the comrade Yusuf Bunchy Carter said. It's coming from hurt. Hurt people, literally hurt people, man. This is a fact. So us as models, the ones who see the overall picture and that's conscious of why it's like that, we must begin to teach, educate, transform these young cats, man, back to their historical origins, which is political lies and revolutionary lies, man. Point blank, man. And I'm going to just run this down real quick as far as youth organizations and this I'm going to say it's 5 proposed activities that define the areas of youth organizations, man, as far as gangs, man. 1, community facelift. To get abandoned, these are the activities that's needed to transform street organizations on the right path and get them on the right path. 1, community facelift. And what is community facelift? It's to get abandoned buildings and to encourage the city to purchase and build community centers upon the property to repair pavements, sidewalks, plant trees, increase lighting, clean up the vacant lots, all within community involvement and financial assistance from the city. That should be automatically. All this shit is under reparations also. This is what they should be doing. Period. 2nd, education. To implement accelerated learning programs to increase upgrade schools, bathrooms, provide new landscapes for schools. We need African-centered schools. We need to get funding for our own institutions of education. Period. That'll fix the problem. And let us run our shit. You know what I mean? Let the youth organizations run that shit. You know what I mean? Or put leadership in place for them to run that shit. You know what I mean? 4, law enforcement. This relationship and this oppressive battle, I'm going to say this oppressive actions from the law enforcement agencies has to cease, man. Law enforcement got to stop being brutal and oppressive on street organizations, man, which we're not going to expect too much from that because they're part of the power structure. So ultimately, they're always going to be the enemy, man. So I'm not even going to really touch bases on law enforcement agencies because they're not going to help us, man. You know what I mean? So I'm going to skip that one because law enforcement agencies are not going to help street organizations become positive, man, because they're put there to patrol the empire and to control and to keep order and to keep street organizations depleted and oppressed, man, and to keep them jails filled up and to keep this criminal activity going. So if there's no criminal activity going on, law enforcement will have no job. So I mean, I'm not even going to touch base on that. I'm going to skip to number 5, economic development. This is the center of the problem of street organizations' oppressive eternal actions, man. Straight up. Economic development. Loans must be provided to all African small businesses at 4% annual interest, and it must be security free. 90% of the people employed by the businesses in our community must be residents of that community. So we need economical development, and these oppressors and their empire should fund that automatically due to they owe that to our nation of New African people. They owe us that. So we demand them to fund that. They gotta fund that because you're the one that forcibly removed us. I'm gonna take it deep. Y'all the ones that forcibly removed us from another continent to this continent, used our people to build up y'all empire economically, and we didn't benefit for that. And that's why our communities are in this way, and we still not benefiting for that. So you owe us. So we demand y'all to fund us, fund these programs to build up street organizations and to be ran by street organizations and to be run by revolutionary organizations, man. Straight up. I don't care what they talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? So before I shut this video down, man, I just want to say to all the street cats, street organization cats out there, man, get educated on the origins of street organizations, youth organizations, political organizations, revolutionary organizations. Go back and find out why you're in the organization or the gang that you are in, and start to pass this information on to the cats that you see out there committing oppressive actions on your own people, man, and that's killing each other, man. I just make this plea to y'all, man. Just at least bring this stuff into the fold when y'all conjugating amongst each other, man. Because I know y'all don't have no leadership. A lot of us don't have no real leadership in these street organizations. So just get together and just talk about that shit, man. You know what I mean? Or get with cats like me or cats that you see that's doing the right thing and ask us for this information so we can provide it to y'all, man. You know what I mean? Because a lot of OGs are not doing that. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? So get at cats like us that know what's going on, man. And let's build. You know what I mean? Let's build something that's gonna contribute to our communities in a positive way, so we can stop mothers from crying, man. So we can stop helping the empire and cage our people. So we can stop the empire from attacking us, man, and keeping us ignorant and keeping us oppressed, man, and keeping us from winning this ultimate goal, man. And that's freeing the land and freeing the Republic of New Africa, man. And just freeing black people, period, man, so we can control our own destiny and our own communities and our own. I just own everything, man. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna end this video on this quote, man. We are power. Listen to what I'm saying now. We are power, a sleeping giant that all we have to do is get conscious enough to rise. We will win. I'm telling you, man. We are power. Put this into your head and remember what I'm saying. We are power, a sleeping giant that all we have to do is get conscious enough to rise, to win. And the only way we can do that is to bring y'all young cats and youth organizations into the fold, man, of what we got going on, man, to defeat this power structure, man, and to gain liberation, man, and to fix our community and control our community and to win, man, against this historical enemy. It's, you know what I mean? Historical oppressors, man. You know what I mean? Once we do that, man, we ain't gonna have no worries, man. You know what I mean? Man, let's gang up and bang on oppression, man. Gang up, homie. You know what I'm saying? Organize, build, and destroy what's negative. You know what I'm saying? Right now, man. Let's get free. You know what I'm saying? Free the land. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna sign off right here, man. Your boy Haki Shakur. Let's gang up on oppression, man. And Pamoja Tutashinda. Together we will win, man. Straight up, man. Power to the people who don't feel freedom, man. Free the land.